Alright, gentlemen, let's cut the pleasantries. Are you tired of feeling like you're constantly fighting an uphill battle in the realm of relationships? Sick of the bewildering signals, the emotional chaos, the gnawing sensation that you're perpetually undervalued or worse, subtly manipulated? Most men stumble and fall in this critical arena because they operate under a profound misconception. They engage in a superficial dance of validation, endlessly seeking approval, convinced that a barrage of compliments or a display of material wealth will somehow secure lasting desire and genuine affection. This naive approach, I assure you, is nothing short of a strategic blunder. True enduring attraction isn't about being nice, being the provider, or even being impressive in the conventional sense. It is fundamentally about power, about deciphering and wielding the unseen psychological levers that truly govern human connection and desire. We are not here to dabble in feel-good platitudes or regurgitate tired pickup lines that offer fleeting results. This session is an unvarnished deep dive into the darker, more potent truths of human psychology, drawing directly from the playbook of masters like Machiavelli. Consider this a tactical briefing, a masterclass in psychological warfare applied to the intricate dynamics of male-female interaction. Forget the notion of romance as a passive dance. True relationships are an intricate mental game, a high-stakes emotional chess match where the man endowed with superior insight, unshakable self-possession, and profound emotional control consistently dictates the terms and emerges victorious. Today, I am going to rip open the veil, exposing a profound truth that 99% of men will never even glimpse. The real, undeniable source of power and irresistible magnetism in any seductive dance is not found in what you articulate to try and impress her, but in the calculated, almost surgical art of what you compel her to reveal about herself. We're talking about a precise, intellectually ruthless masculine strategy crafted to bypass her carefully constructed emotional defenses, to penetrate the deepest recesses of her subconscious mind, and to subtly implant ideas and desires that she will find utterly impossible to dislodge or forget. These are not mere questions. They are finely honed psychological instruments, meticulously engineered to unravel her most guarded secrets, to expose her deepest yearnings, her hidden insecurities, and her most intoxicating fantasies. They are designed to forge an unshakable, emotional connection, not through grand, ostentatious gestures, but through the sophisticated, subtle artistry of eliciting her vulnerable, authentic self. This is how you generate an intense, almost obsessive intrigue, a burning curiosity about who you truly are, making her bond with you on a raw, profound level she never anticipated with any other man. Understand this and internalize it. If you are continually failing to command unadulterated respect, if you perpetually find yourself on the defensive, consistently losing ground in your interactions, it is not a flaw in your inherent worth. It is because you currently lack the crucial tools, the keen observational skills, and the nuanced manipulation savvy required to truly comprehend and profoundly influence her intricate inner world. You are, in essence, leaving yourself tragically vulnerable to her every whim, icily dismissed, perpetually replaceable. This isn't about crude dominance or brute force. It is about intellectual superiority, about becoming the undisputed architect of every interaction, every shared moment. By the time we conclude, you will be armed with an undeniable tactical advantage, the formidable ability to subtly, almost imperceptibly, guide her thoughts, her emotions, and her desires towards you. You will begin your transformation into the archetypal high-value man who is not merely desired, but profoundly revered, almost worshipped. This isn't a workshop for the weak-willed, the easily offended, or those clinging to naive, simplistic notions of romance. This is an invitation for men who are unequivocally ready to cease being passive victims of circumstance and to boldly begin dictating the terms of their own romantic destiny. Are you ready to engage in this ultimate mental game and play to absolutely win? Then open your mind, silence your doubts, and absorb every single word, because what I am about to unveil will irrevocably transform everything you thought you knew about women, relationships, and yourself. Forget the naive notion that you impress women by showcasing your achievements or witty banter. That's a fundamental miscalculation, a rookie error in the mental game of seduction. True power, a principle Machiavelli would applaud, lies not in what you say, but what you strategically extract from her. Make her the protagonist, the one revealing her deepest thoughts and feelings. This is psychological warfare. Your objective is to map her intricate inner world. The man who constantly talks about himself broadcasts insecurity. The high-value man understands potent connection is forged in her vulnerability. When she speaks, when she shares, she opens herself to you. This is where emotional control truly begins, not through overt dominance, but strategic invitation. Your role is to orchestrate, not perform. This is a precise masculine strategy. Ask the right questions, listen with hypnotic intensity, creating an atmosphere where she feels compelled to divulge. This isn't crude manipulation. It's artful guidance. You build respect by demonstrating profound understanding. Her words are the threads you weave into intimacy. The more she talks, the more she invests emotionally. Her self-disclosure becomes commitment, her confession of desires. With each revelation, your leverage, your power grows. You become a confidant, a keeper of secrets. This is the bedrock of genuine connection. But how do you master this art of eliciting revelation without seeming like an interrogator? How do you create that magnetic pull? It's about surgical precision, not brute force interrogation. Your questions are not inquiries. They are psychological invitations designed to bypass superficial defenses and access her true emotional landscape. A high-value man uses questions as a masculine strategy for emotional control, not to extract data but to elicit profound self-disclosure. Forget what do you do. Instead, try, what's a secret aspiration you've always held but rarely share? Or what's the one thing you genuinely believe about yourself that others often misunderstand? These questions aren't just probing, they're planting ideas. They compel her to introspect, to articulate her hidden self, making her feel seen and profoundly understood. This isn't crude manipulation. It's a sophisticated mental game where respect is earned by being the architect of her self-discovery. This process grants you immense power. As she begins to idealize your perception of her, you become the keeper of her inner world, and that's a leverage Machiavelli would recognize. But what makes these specific questions so potent, and how do they create an undeniable pull that keeps her coming back? The potency isn't merely in the words you choose, but in the unseen forces that deliver them. Your voice, your delivery, the tempo of the interaction, these are your instruments of influence. Consider the tone. It must be an anchor, steady, and unwavering, devoid of accusation or desperation. A calm, confident cadence signals a man utterly in control, a high-value man who isn't seeking validation but offering a space for genuine connection. This isn't an interrogation. It's an invitation, delivered with the serene authority of a master strategist. Then there's timing. These potent questions aren't deployed haphazardly. They are surgical strikes, launched at moments of natural vulnerability, during intimate conversations where defenses are naturally lowered. It's an art of reading the emotional landscape, knowing precisely when the gates of her inner world are ajar. This precise deployment is a masculine strategy, demonstrating a keen understanding of the mental game. And finally, silence. This is your ultimate weapon. After posing a question designed to penetrate her deepest thoughts, resist the urge to fill the void. Let the silence hang, heavy and pregnant with anticipation. This isn't awkwardness, it's a crucible for introspection. The unspoken pressure compels her to confront the question, to articulate the truth, giving power to her own answers. This strategic pause, reminiscent of a master chess player, heightens the impact, forcing her deeper into self-reflection. It's an exercise in emotional control for both of you, demanding her respect and deepening your perceived influence. But how do you ensure this influence translates into lasting commitment, and not just fleeting revelation? This isn't a one-time operation, gentlemen. Gaining insight is merely winning a single skirmish. To forge lasting commitment, you must understand that power is not seized, it is meticulously maintained. Think of it as a Machiavellian campaign for loyalty, where your perceived value and consistent emotional control are the keystones of your fortress. A true high-valued man doesn't simply reveal depths, he consistently demonstrates the capacity to navigate them, to hold space, and to lead. This continuous application of masculine strategy transforms fleeting curiosity into unshakable respect. It's a profound mental game, where you're not just observing her internal landscape, but subtly influencing its contours. This isn't crude manipulation. It's the sophisticated art of framing reality, ensuring she continually associates her deepest desires and sense of security with your presence. The question then becomes, how do you sustain this profound influence, without becoming predictable or, worse, losing your own edge in the process? To sustain that profound influence, understand that these strategic questions aren't merely initial probes, they are recurring calibration points in your continuous mental game. A high-value man doesn't just extract data, he strategically deploys these inquiries to re-engage, to test the emotional landscape, ensuring alignment and deepening her respect. Each question, precisely timed, acts as a subtle reassertion of your power in her inner world, demanding her renewed attention. It's a sophisticated form of emotional control, not over her will, but over the narrative of your shared experience. This isn't crude manipulation. It's the refined Machiavellian art of demonstrating consistent depth and intentionality. This is the ongoing masculine strategy for governance in a relationship, where your authority is perpetually reinforced through wisdom, not brute force. The 10 strategic questions are therefore not a checklist, but a dynamic toolkit, designed to keep her invested, to uncover new layers, and to ensure her loyalty remains tethered to your unwavering leadership. It's about consistently demonstrating you are the architect of a relationship, offering both intellectual challenge and profound security. But what happens when the answers themselves become a test, revealing not just insight, but unexpected resistance or even outright defiance? When her answers morphed from insight into unexpected resistance, or worse, outright defiance, this is where your true mettle as a high-value man is forged. This isn't a setback, It's a live-fire exercise in your continuous mental game. A lesser man would react with frustration, perhaps even anger, betraying his lack of emotional control. But you, understanding the deeper currents, recognize this as a test of your power, a challenge to your established authority. It's a deliberate, albeit sometimes unconscious, probe of your boundaries. Your masculine strategy here is critical. This isn't the moment for crude manipulation or overt coercion. That only breeds resentment, not respect. Instead, this is where the refined Machiavellian principle of understanding the human psyche comes into play. You don't meet defiance with equal force. You meet it with strategic intelligence, with an unshakable calm that silently communicates your unwavering position. You use her resistance to highlight the strength of your framework, the solidity of your leadership. But how do you calibrate this precise countermove to reassert your influence without triggering a defensive spiral or appearing overly controlling? The calibration isn't about brute force, it's about surgical precision in your masculine strategy. You acknowledge her resistance, not as an affront, but as a data point in your ongoing mental game. This is where your mastery of emotional control becomes paramount. Instead of reacting, you respond with an unshakable calm that communicates, without a single aggressive word, the absolute solidity of your frame. A high-value man doesn't need to bark orders. His presence alone, when wielded with intention, projects an undeniable power. This is a nuanced application of Machiavellian understanding, recognizing the underlying motive for her challenge, often a subconscious test for true leadership, and meeting it not with punishment, but with an even stronger demonstration of your consistent vision. Crude manipulation at this stage would backfire, eroding the very foundation of respect you're building. Your countermove is a subtle re-anchoring, a firm re-guidance back to the shared reality you've constructed, where your leadership is not just assumed, but proven in moments of friction. This isn't about crushing her spirit. It's about demonstrating that your framework is robust enough to withstand her probes, providing stable ground for both. But what if this resistance isn't just a test, but a fundamental clash of wills, revealing a dangerous aspect she's unknowingly brought to the surface? This is no longer a strategic skirmish. It's a foundational tremor. Here, your emotional control isn't just about maintaining composure. It's about a cold, calculated assessment of the terrain. A true clash of wills isn't about who wins a single argument, but about incompatible core values, a direct challenge to your very essence. A high-value man understands that true power isn't exerted through brute force against an immovable object, but through recognizing when a structure is fundamentally unsound. This is where Machiavellian wisdom truly applies. Understanding that some battles are unwinnable not because you lack strength, but because the opponent's internal landscape is a battlefield unto itself. Your masculine strategy here pivots from guidance to ruthless discernment. Is this a woman capable of genuine respect for a shared vision? Or is her default a perpetual state of emotional friction, requiring constant manipulation simply to maintain equilibrium? The subtle cues, the fleeting expressions, the shift in her eye contact, they become more than just signs of initial attraction. They reveal the deeper architecture of her psychological makeup in this crucial mental game. But what if these deep-seated patterns of resistance are not just hers, but a reflection of a deeper insecurity within you, an unaddressed wound that she, perhaps unconsciously, keeps prodding? This isn't about her perceived flaws anymore. It's a mirror reflecting your own unaddressed depths, that sudden surge of frustration, that almost reflexive need to assert power over a minor disagreement. Those aren't simply her provocations. She's an unwitting probe, exposing the raw nerve of an old wound you thought had healed. Your emotional control falters not because she's a master of manipulation but because her actions resonate with a deep-seated insecurity within you. This is the ultimate mental game, confronting the hidden weaknesses you've meticulously walled off. A high-value man understands that true strength isn't just about conquering external adversaries. It's about the brutal self-audit, a masculine strategy of self-mastery. If you cannot respect your own internal landscape enough to confront these shadows, how can you genuinely command respect from a woman who sees beyond the facade? This is where Machiavellian self-awareness becomes paramount. Knowing your own vulnerabilities before you attempt to understand or influence anyone else. What happens when this hidden vulnerability, this true secret, is laid bare, not by her design, but by your own unexamined triggers? And more importantly, how does this revelation change the entire dynamic of the power struggle you believed you were winning? This isn't about her manipulation anymore. It's about the shift in your internal battlefield. When that hidden vulnerability surfaces, the superficial layers of your perceived power facade crumble, revealing the true architecture of your self-worth. This is the ultimate mental game. Can you maintain emotional control not by suppressing the weakness, but by owning it? A high-value man doesn't pretend his shadows don't exist. He acknowledges them, understands their origins, and integrates them into his overall masculine strategy. This isn't weakness. It's a profound display of self-awareness, an act of intellectual honesty that commands a deeper respect precisely because it's authentic. She might subconsciously sense that initial flicker of discomfort in you, that moment of perceived danger to your composure. But what truly captivates her is the subsequent unwavering display of self-possession. This is where Machiavelli's insights transcend mere external statecraft and penetrate the internal domain. The true power lies not in denying your humanity, but in mastering the raw, untamed parts of it. It's about understanding that the very thing that made you feel exposed, if met with strength, becomes an anchor, not a liability. The challenge is not to avoid the trigger, but to redefine your reaction, to transform psychological warfare into a strategic advancement. How then do you take that moment of perceived weakness and wield it as an instrument of undeniable magnetism, a tool not of coercion, but of profound influence? Now, ask yourself, have you ever felt your emotional control falter, only to realize later you were being expertly manipulated? Share your raw truth in the comments below. If you're serious about mastering this internal mental game, cultivating profound respect, and developing the masculine strategy that few men ever uncover, the very essence of true power, as even Machiavelli understood internally, then subscribe and hit that notification bell. Next, watch this video to truly embody what it means to be a high-value man. Until then, remain vigilant, remain powerful.